fun. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Choices with Carl and myself. And today, our topic is going to be focused around decisions. And I'm going to go right in and ask Carl, what decision have you been postponing that if you made today would make your life move forward?
That's one of those fun questions. Just put me in the hot seat. And so when we think of decisions, and as you and I talk in preparation for our sessions, you go into this, I do this thought process to try and get to where we've got some good information for the people that we're talking to. And decisions are made hundreds, probably thousands a day by each of us. Some of them have much more impact on us than we may realize when we make them. Other decisions are just simple, do I want to go upstairs? Whatever it is, it's just one of those kind of things. But as far as myself and decisions that I make on a daily basis, the number one decision I make on a daily basis is to have an unbelievable day. And whatever choices I need to make throughout the day to make sure my day is unbelievable is my focus. And so I make those kind of decisions on a regular basis. There are very few, and in the past year, I can probably count on less than two fingers the number of challenges that my brain came to where I didn't act in the response mode and acted in the emotional mode, So response is the best way to come at any situation that you have. But getting back to the decisions, we just get to a place where we've got to make those. So just to ask you a question, Concepta, you came down, visited the shop. We had a great time together.
Yes.
Everybody enjoyed your visit. But when you jumped in the car, did you make the decision to put on a seatbelt?
That is such a thing I've done automatically. So that I guess it would have been a decision, but I'm not conscious of it being a decision. Like these are habits. But
Now they become
yeah,
habits, right?
yeah.
But the original decision to do it was what?
Well, it was the law. In Ireland, I will say no because we didn't have to wear them. So it really, and that's actually a great example. It's almost like, do I go for that walk or am I going to stay on the couch? And a lot of times you just want to every that now is to me is more mindful because that's not something I do. Like brushing my teeth, this is automatic. Of
Right.
course you're going to brush them morning and night. The one thing I think I find not so much so for you and I, but I'm just thinking about other people is like how to stay motivated. It's like you want to go on a diet, or you want to start eating healthy, or you're going to work out. That, and
Well,
I know
and
it's about decision, so I know it's so connected in there.
but originally when we talk about seatbelts, everybody quote unquote says is to save lives. And so, primarily people do it so they won't get hurt in a crash or something like that. I mean, it is the law because it's that important and that sort of stuff. In saying that, and nobody report me to anybody else, but I don't wear a seatbelt.
Yeah, you would share that.
Yeah, and I don't wear a seatbelt for an important reason because I want to take responsibility and mentally put myself in the place where I have responsibility when I'm going down the road, which means I'm paying a little closer attention, which means I'm watching things a little bit closer. And so from a safety standpoint, I tend to believe that I have the ability. Now, understand accidents are accidents,
How about your passengers? Do you have them wear seatbelts?
their choice.
Okay, because I personally would make them wear a seatbelt, even if I wasn't, because I'm aware of when I have to stop and start, especially if they're just sitting there. So that I
Yeah.
do, and that is, I think it's for me as well as for them. I don't want to be them jerking around the place. But no,
Yeah.
I hear you though, in a sense of being in control.
So now let's say we can agree that we can do it overall from a health concern. We want to stay healthy. So now start applying that to everything else in your life from a health concern standpoint. and you mentioned just earlier brushing your teeth. You do it
Mm.
automatically. But why do you brush your teeth?
For health. Yeah. You
And
know,
so,
it's interesting. The first time ever in my life, my doctor who I went to see this week, I was telling you, she just brushed over two questions. One was, how's your diet and exercise? I was like, good. And the other thing she asked me was, do you wear your seatbelt? And I looked at her like, yeah. I mean, it's like, is that something new that they're bringing into uh, it was no, and I wouldn't have even thought
yeah.
about it except you bringing it up. I know I'm getting sidetracked, but
No, it's all about decisions and decision-making process. I mean, you absolutely understand my focus on the food connection to our health. And I would believe that in general, most people understand that there are foods that are not good for them, yet they make the decision to eat them.
hmm,
And that's a decision. They may not think of it that way. They may think that I like the taste
yeah.
or it's a habit or whatever, but they don't, it's cause and effect when it comes to decisions.
Hmm.
It's if I make this decision, what's the effect going to be? And
And
again,
it's so easy to think of because I have half a dessert left at home and I'm looking forward to having it tonight, but I just had half last night. And yet, like during the day, I'm like, "Ah, I wish I didn't need sugar or crave sugar or want sugar. I just wish it didn't even exist. Rather than saying, I need to get control of that and go through the discomfort of
right.
yearning and feeling like it and rejecting. But it's like,
We
again, that's become such a freaking habit.
Yeah, we've talked about, my focus and it's almost to an extreme on food, but what made that decision work for me was mentally in my mind, I decided my goal was to live to 100.
Okay.
And by setting that goal, to me, it made all of the other decisions easier.
Why
They
do you
all
want to live?
fell,
Why do you want to live till you're 100? Why that number?
um, number one, because I want to prove that you can.
Okay.
That you can change and doctors talk a lot about genetics and genes and all that sort of stuff, and to a small extent that may be true. For the most part, I believe it's horse crap. What happens is that you grow up in a home with a certain diet, you learn to cook a certain diet, then you moved out, cook the same diet, and this perpetuates itself within a
And they
family,
call that genetic.
and they call
Yeah.
it genetics.
Yeah.
And so I believe that to be true to a large degree. Is there something to it? Of course. Where you grew up, if there's toxins in the ground, if there was an oil spill, that kind of stuff, there can be some of that that goes on. But I believe you can make a choice for longevity, research it, look into it, and make it happen. And so you've got to make the decisions that push that point forward,
Mm.
which to me makes my decision every day easier in terms of what I'm eating. If I didn't have that goal out there, you'll meet my boss Paul, and he's doing ketogenic to some extent, but he believes in cheating and it's okay to cheat and that sort of stuff. I just won't allow myself to do it because I have this goal.
Yes.
And so that becomes my decision
Did he
to
set a
work
goal
in it.
for himself?
Yeah, just to lose weight. And that's the worst goal in the world.
Yeah.
Getting
Yeah.
healthy, getting healthy should be the goal.
Yeah. What is the most recent decision you made that's new for you that you've been just doing?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Recent decision. Um, it, it wasn't even really my decision to move to a new location a year ago. It was somewhat forced on me, but um, not a whole lot. I mean, a new decision will be if I decide to get a new car. A new decision will be if I want to take a vacation, if I, and I don't do enough of either of those. My car's a beat up relic, but so I turned 290,000 miles, and
Proud of it.
and that's because of the decisions. I was just up in your backyard in Norfolk because that's where my mechanic is. Getting regular oil changes and taking care of it and making a decision to make it last longer. Most people won't make that decision. When the little light flashes on the dash, they'll go and get an oil change. They'll do that rather than keeping a log and thinking about what needs to happen at what time to make a vehicle run. But all of those are little decisions that we're going through all the time.
Hmm. What made you decision to do this podcast with me? I've asked myself the same thing. To me, it wasn't even a decision. It just felt like we have information that is being wasted when we're just sharing it together like we did in restaurants. But what was your
Yeah.
decision? Was it
I
similar?
mean, it was two part. I absolutely agreed that the information was important, but you were persistent.
I can be.
And to be honest with you, the secret to life, as James Taylor says in his song, the secret to life is enjoying the passage of time.
Mm,
And I just have thoroughly enjoyed any of the time we've ever spent together. It just seems like such a natural thing to do
I
in
so
our
agree.
conversations. Yeah. We just complement, two totally different worlds, if you will,
Yeah.
but it just seems to be so much alike. And, that alikeness attracts people.
Hmm.
They like to say opposites attract, and I don't think so much. People with commonality. I mean, we've talked about it with cigars. That becomes the one common thing between the banker and the bricklayer. It doesn't matter. They're
Yeah.
into cigars, and that commonality will really help foster discussions and get-togethers on a lot of it. But life is about decisions, and you've got to get information, which obviously comes behind all of those decisions is getting a balanced way to get the information so you can make a good decision. The old pros and cons list when you're trying to make that big decision about, having a kid or buying a house or whatever it might be. You've got to go into that and you've got to hope the information you've got on both sides is accurate so
Mm,
that you can make an informed decision. I mentioned this guy called Carnivore Teacher on YouTube. And he's gone through a series now of vegetables, and now he's on a series of fruits, going through the pros and cons of each individual vegetable or each individual fruit. So, as he says in every one of his videos, you can make an informed decision.
mm,
And it really comes down to getting to that point where you can make an informed decision. If you've only got one side of the equation, and, excuse me, a lot of the folks on the left side seem to have one side of the equation. They're not willing to look at it. The mind is best. It's like a parachute, works open.
I
You
love
got to
that.
have an open mind when you come to look at these things and try to balance both sides, make an informed decision.
I
Then,
call that to play the whole movie because a lot of
yeah,
times something can be like a sneak preview.
yeah.
It's like or saying I want to do something. And then it's like if you just say I want to do something, that's really not enough. It's like, why do you want to? How will your life be
Well,
different? How do you want to
well,
feel?
that word "want" to me is a little bit like that word that drives me crazy. Try.
Try. I know. I love how you correct
Absolutely.
people to say that.
Absolutely drives me crazy because
Yeah.
it's a mental cop-out word. We
Yeah.
absolutely let ourselves off the hook. I only try. You've got to mentally want it bad enough that you put yourself on the hook so that you're going to do everything you can to make it happen.
Mm. And how do you stay motivated is that other thing. It's like, to me, it's staying present, like literally, because there are times, someone breaks up with someone, right? Let's say they're
Yeah.
together 6 years and
Yeah.
now they've thrown the whole 6 years away. And I always say, no, no, those 6 years were experiences you've learned. Hopefully you'll take something from them or not. But it's like being present and not blaming other people. I really think that's when you're giving your power away, being a
Yeah. I'm
victim, blaming other
you
people. I remember
I mean,
talking to this gentleman one time, and he happens to be a Boston police officer, but he was extremely overweight. And I knew it was diet and no exercise and just the hours and the overtime and everything he was doing. He literally was blaming his mother for his diabetes. He was over 300 pounds and blaming, and I was like, and he meant it. I was like, oh my
I,
God.
I get it, but this discussion follows true the same way. Guns kill people the same way spoons made Rosie O'Donnell fat.
I have not heard that before. The word
But it
water doesn't get you wet is the line that I like.
exactly, yeah. And so it's all about your decisions all
Yes.
the time. But you have to mentally have your brain engaged in positive thinking to make good
Mm.
decisions. Because I'm
Which,
sure there's
yeah.
a ton of people that approach it from a negative standpoint and they're making the wrong decision all the time. I mean, unfortunately, we have a friend, I'll just say Harry, who just made all of the wrong decisions all the time. Smart
Mm.
guy, but just made all of the wrong
Extremely
decisions.
smart. Yeah.
Yeah, but all of the decisions were wrong. And you wonder how you get to that point sometimes.
Well, for me, I think just because of the world I'm in, a lot of it is unhealed pain, unhealed childhood wounds. It
Hmm.
just is. And you're looking for it in the wrong places. It's like I always say to people, stop going to the well that doesn't have water.
Yeah,
Go to the well. And I think the other thing is give yourself what you didn't get. Don't give that decision or power to some guy or girl you're
right.
dating. Or when they
Yeah.
say, I've never felt this before. Oh, I'm like, run for the freaking hills. Because you know that's like the trauma wound going. Zip.
Yeah.
And I know Harry was very attracted to that kind of energy. And
Yeah.
we know where he ended up. So
Yeah. But two decisions that are so important in life, I believe. Number one is the decision to take absolute responsibility for everything in your life.
yes.
Everything. And it's kind of the reason why I don't wear a seatbelt. It's taking absolute responsibility for everything in my life. Number two is to make the decision to be happy all the time. And
Yeah.
it is a decision. It's a choice. It's not the result of the world. It's not the result of a friend. It's not the result of anything else. It's a choice to
Hmm.
be happy.
How can someone practice, even in the smallest way today, to make it a new choice, make a new decision?
Yeah, it got to have the mind in the right place, and this is the
Mm,
tough part of it. We all know those people that want to lose 10 pounds, but they just
mm,
can't mentally, wrap their brain around making it happen. So somehow getting decent control of your thought process becomes number one on all the hit parade.
yeah.
Because none of it happens otherwise.
Something
And
I've often sorry to interrupt, but there's
you
something
know,
that I often will say to people is right action produces right thinking.
right,
And I think a lot of people, well, I don't feel. Feelings are not facts. I've worked with people who 6 weeks ago they met some guy and now they're like, oh my God, I feel, and they're waiting for them to like, and it's all about feelings. I'm like, oh my God, you didn't know this guy 6 weeks ago. And now it's like, feelings are not facts. Do the right thing, the next right thing for yourself. But I'm telling you, it
but
really is a matter of being able to feel and think. I remember my
yeah,
therapist said that to me years ago. You're not
yeah,
fully living until you think, feel. I
yeah,
didn't have a clue what he was talking about at the time, but I get it.
yeah. Understanding the difference. We've
Yeah.
we've talked about this, like understanding the difference between love and lust.
Mm.
Everybody thinks lust is love, and it's not even close. It's
I
a
was
it's a form.
so
It's a
bummed when I learned that.
why
Because
it
I
tends to
loved
make life
lust.
better.
I
Yeah,
loved lust. Well, I
yeah.
didn't even know what yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I was so bummed out to find out that lust is not love. And I'm like, I want to have nothing to do with love if it's not. was back in
You
the
can
day when I was,
you can have them both. That's the beauty. You can have them both. But to recognize lust as love is going to put you down the wrong path. It's absolutely going
yeah.
to make it wrong for you.
And you're
And
going to ultimately make bad decisions when you're in that
yeah,
place.
yeah. And so I mean there's so many I think simple little things from my standpoint, from your standpoint, because mentally we're in a different place than a lot of people. But they've just got to make the decision to move in the right direction in little pieces. The world exists between our ears. Everything that happens in our
100%.
world happens between our ears, which means we have 100% control of it. So many people believe they have no control. Okay, if
I know.
that's what you want to believe, go for it. But it's not the way that the world really
No,
is.
it gets filtered through our thinking, which is a direct result of our belief system and our nervous
You,
system and all that other stuff that I love. That's
you
like
mean
my
those
wheelhouse.
those crazy scotomas?
Yes, there you go. This is where we got to go to an end. I mean, you and I could talk for hours about this, but until next week, we will be saying goodbye and safe driving, whether you wear your seatbelt or not. Take
That's great.
care.
Yeah.